And brain training may soon become as mainstream and as regular a part of our routines as going to the gym. Research firm Sharp Brains estimates that the brain fitness software market will reach $2 billion in 2015 in the United States alone, with smartphone brain training apps adding to the growth of that market. And one of the leading companies in this field is CogniFit. And joining me now is Nathaneal Eisenberg, the CEO of CogniFit. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So your company, CogniFit, is in 55 countries, in 12 languages. What is the size and scope of the global brain game industry?
Like you said, in 2015, the expectation are for the industry to be $2 billion. And by 2020...
Is that the global industry, $2
That's
billion?
the global industry. The problem is how you reach or you cut the industry and how you want to calculate it, because it encompasses so many different industries that you can give different numbers or expectation. What we know is that brain training or brain fitness is growing very fast all around the world because this is a global need.
Well, Luminosity and CogniFit are the market leaders. Who are some of the other players in this field?
There is other players as Posit Science and other small companies, but there are very few serious companies who have scientific validations behind their product.
Okay, so how does the platform work? Can brain training make people more effective, more productive, and smarter at the end of the day?
Absolutely, because you train cognitive skills such as your memory, concentration, which are very important for productivity. So by training those and then making sure that they are in top shape, you can remain and stay productive for a longer period of time in your life.
Now, can this help with mental degenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, for example, and other degenerative conditions?
Absolutely. The idea is that cognition declines over time. As of 30 years old, you start to lose certain parts of your cognition.
You go downhill from 30, huh?
Exactly. So the question is, how can you maintain or push back that decline? And the idea is that with brain training and serious product, you can really push back this decline over time.
But what about doing a crossword puzzle or reading or playing Sudoku, for example?
Oh, that's a very good question. If you do Sudoku, the problem is that you will learn the rules. So at the beginning, it will train you. If you learn a new language, at the beginning, it's going to train your brain. The problem is that at the end, it's going to be repetitive. So brain training, our system in CogniFit, the idea is to always try to challenge you and change the rules so your brain is never used to the exercise it is doing.
Okay, so like the gym, you have to change up your routine.
Absolutely.
Okay, now in terms of the economic impact, do you maintain that cognitive degeneration has severe economic costs for companies and for countries? Expand more on that idea.
Absolutely. Mental health costs, for example, in Europe is around $1 trillion a year. It's similar in the US. And this is because of the aging of the population, this is going to go only worse because there is more and more people who are getting older, and we need to pay for the entitlement and all the health-related costs of those people.
So how does your program help a country or a company reduce its entitlement costs?
Because, for example, as a generation, we're going to need to work longer and for a longer period of time. And we want to make sure people live longer, but not necessarily better. So what we want to make sure is that people, even at an older age, can remain sharp and can continue being agile with their brain. And this has a strong impact on the governmental cost and business cost.
Well, one country that is facing a major aging population is China, and CogniFit has recently launched its Mandarin and Cantonese program in China. How has it been received there?
So in China, it's great because Chinese people, but that's the same all around the world. People are really worried about their mental health, about their memory. In the US, it's one of the largest concerns. So in the Chinese market, where they have a strong problem in terms of population, because even if in percentage it's smaller than the rest of the countries, in absolute number, this is the country that's going to face the most critical problem of aging of the population in the future. So the Chinese companies and consumers are very interested in maintaining their brain health.
Now, here's my question. You have this in different languages and in different cultures. Is it just a question of changing the language in which the game is played, or do you make cultural adjustments for the various countries?
We make cultural adjustment, but we try to reduce the number of verbal tools and features that we use in our programs to ensure that we can globalize and localize it in an easy way.
Now, very quickly, where do you see the future of brain training? Is it going to be more evolved than the two-dimensional games that we're seeing? Is it going to be a regular part of our routine, like going to the gym? What is the long-term picture here?
The idea is the awareness and the credibility in the brain fitness industry is increasing among the population. And people are much more aware today that they need, like their physical health, like you said, like to go to the gym, that they need to train their brain. So this is going to be mainstream for the entire population in the coming years.
Okay, well, I better get on that.
For sure.
Better get sharpening our brain. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Nathaneal Eisenberg, CEO of CogniFit.